Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Dragon's Maze here from San Diego, California. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Brian David Marshall. This is the last round of draft for this particular Pro Tour, and we have Ifro. You get a look at him there. Eric Frolic, and he's playing against a man known as Big Z, Matai Zadelkai. You might know him from our Grand Prix coverage in Europe, and it looks like play is already underway with a turn 1 and a turn 2 play from Matai. It's a Wasteland Viper, and it's followed up by a disciple of the old ways. No turn 2 play from Ifro yet.
How do you feel about leading off with the Wasteland Viper?
I always do it.
You always do it?
Yeah, I just figure, you know, as our friend Steve Saden would say, it's a lava axe. He's going to get in for 5 or 6. All right, it looks like Mate has given, using the spell give.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's disciple of the old ways, 3+1/+1 counters, and then his attack for 6, so a blistering start. And it's a putrefy to complete the 2-for-1. Now, Mate made sure that the coast was clear, at least enough to get in for some damage before that happened, but that is going to be a major setback for him. He follows up with an Ivy Lane Denizen. All right, now what can Ifro come up with to help stabilize?
Ifro's got grip.
He's got a lot of cards.
He's got Turn and Burn. He's got Punish the Enemy. He's got Thrashing Moss Dog.
Which is what he plays here. Now, does Big Z have a green spell? What was it?
It was Hypersonic Dragon.
Nothing like Wasteland Viper into Hypersonic Dragon.
An ungreen spell.
Yes, very not green. It's not going to trigger the Denizen, but it is going to hit for 4 in the air and apply a ton of pressure to Ifro. All right, Eric draws a Scorpion there. Looks like he's not going to hit a land drop. He's got a Drag Mangler and a few Clue Stones here that he can cast.
Go.
And he does exactly that and passes the turn back. So the Moss Dog's on blocking duty, although even though it can block the Flyer, unfortunately the Flyer's a 4/4. Hypersonic indeed. And it looks like, Matai's going to swing in there with his 4/4 Hypersonic Dragon and the 1/2 Death Touch. There's going to be a block here, and it looks like it's just going to be a chump block. It could be followed up by a burn spell or anything.
Eric's at 7. He can't really afford.
There it is. There's the
turn burn. But is it charmed off the top to counter the spell?
Snap. Is it charmed to counter it? He's going to keep his guy alive, and he's going to present a pretty brutal force. There is a land here for Ifro, and he does have Punish the Enemy. But Punish the Enemy, again, not enough to kill Hypersonic Dragon on its own. And Ifro just concedes. He has no other option here as the tempo plays for Matai Zadelkai. Give, and then is it charm?
Was that
put him in a position to win?
What turn was that?
Which one?
Was that like turn 5?
Yeah, turn 6.
Sorry, Lava Axe with the turn 6. He Lava Axe with the Wasteland.
Turn 7 maybe. Oh no, he attacked. Yeah, turn 7, turn 6. Yeah. Wow. We'd like to thank Card House Games for being an official card retailer here at Pro Tour Dragon's Maze. For all things Magic, Card House Games is one of the premier destinations on the internet. For more information, visit cardhouse.com.
There you get a look at Eric Frolic.
He always looks like that. He did just lose a game, but even if he won, he'd probably look like that too. Not very happy. He's just kind of like, well, I tried.
Yeah, he keeps a pretty pretty flat veneer on while he's playing. He tries to, but you know, we really saw an emotional side of him when he top-8'd in Pro Tour Grade Crash.
When he was talking about the people that helped him get to where he was going, that was a touching moment
really
here in the Pro
emotional
Tour.
Moment.
Yeah, he is a stoic competitor indeed.
Not a stoic competitor, Zvi Moshowitz in the background. You can hear his laughter sort of cascading over their match.
He talks a lot. Yeah, he's a very friendly guy at the table.
And he's laughing like that already down a game to Shaya Ahsoka.
Now, Matai, really one of the truly nice guys out here.
Absolutely.
You know, just a sweet guy. And you get a feel for his personality when you watch the coverage of the GPs over in Europe.
I had a chance to hang out with him in New York when he came.
Oh, you did?
When he came and visited. We took him for dim sum in Chinatown.
Oh, yeah. I've gone with you to dim sum in Chinatown. I'm already jealous.
Just a really nice guy, really, able to enjoy, non-magic conversation.
Yeah, which can be refreshing.
Yeah.
In our little world, it can get
Well,
can get kind of.
he was there with his girlfriend too, so I think she was.
Yeah, that's a guiding force in those discussions, I'm sure. But you can see that when Matai plays here, he's all business. Up a game, looking to close out. Ifro's looking at his opening hand.
Me too.
All right, both players have kept their hand for us for Ifro. And a Guild Gate for Zadokaj. That's probably a necessary thing here, as we saw a few blue and red spells from him. And a Gate Creeper Vine from Ifro. We've been... I've been looking at that card, and I think it's gone. I mean, it was already pretty good. It feels like it's gone up even more now.
Well, especially now that your gates are getting you... Like in Return to Ravnica, your gates were kind of like on-color gates. So it was like kind of just like it was just kind of like draw a card.
Yeah, it was kind of like draw a card.
But now it's like draw a card and fix your mana.
Right. Maybe set up a gatekeeper.
Or maybe enable a gatekeeper, set up the back end of a fuse card. So Brian Kibler just won game 1 against Cifka in what was described as a savaging.
Noted. All right, I think we're going to see Greenside Watcher from Matteo.
That's another card that's gotten a little better.
Yeah, potentially a lot better. Depends. Depends on how much slower the format is. Always good, though. It's a 2-1 for 2, so its downside is really not that low. There's a Trestle Troll, so double defender here for Eric Frolic. Shields are up. I see that there's a give off the top there for Matai, but he's also got a Bluster Squall in his hand.
You're attacking? I'm attacking.
All right, so there's an attack coming in, and Eric Frolic has to decide if he wants to bait out a trick here or if he just wants to take 2 damage. He's at 20. It's not a big loss, and he can untap and have Trestle Troll regeneration mana up, depending on what his plan is for the next few turns. And he does decide, I'm just going to take it. All right, a Beetle Form Mage, a card I've been very impressed by ever since this set came out, and even then, I think it's gone up.
Go.
All right, Thrashing Mossdog for Ifro.
I can tell you that we got Miming Slime and 3 lands in hand for Eric Frolic. And on Mate's side, we have a Disciple of the Old Ways, Rebel Belt, Maka, Bluster Squall, Give, Take, and an Island. Maybe one more. No, that's it.
5 cards in hand, yeah, pretty stacked up.
Yeah. 14? Yeah.
Well, the Beetle form gets down to the business of attacking.
Yeah, Ifro, not having access to Trestle Troll regeneration mana, just decided to take it this turn. He can double block the next turn and have regeneration up if he wants. He can eat that mage. No, looks like he's going to start attacking himself here, as he's got a Miming Slime, which is going to be a 3/3. So it looks like he's going to start taking a proactive role in this game, start attacking.
Let me take a look at what he's got left to work with. I mean, he's just got 4 lands after playing that Miming Slime. And then...
so he's just going to be regenerating that Trestle Troll a bunch, basically.
And we know that Mate, on the other hand, has a Bluster Squall as a finisher in his hand.
He does.
And he also has the Give Take and the Rubber Belt Malka. So he's capable of outputting a bunch of damage out of nowhere.
Hey, if he can commit a creature with power 2 or greater here, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's going to need 6 mana total. I think he's got a line on just winning this game already worked out. Basically, if he can get to 10 power on board and untap, well, it looks like he doesn't have it here, as he's only got 3 available mana. But if he can get to that point, then he can just Bluster Squall Ifro and attack him for 10. He needs to be able to overload Bluster Squall and still have the ability to pump Beetle Form Mage, but that shouldn't be a problem.
So 4 mana for Bluster Squall, 2 mana for the Beetle Form, and then another mana to pump to Blood Rush the Malka.
Well, I mean, even then he can just, he's already got 8 power on the board.
Right.
With the Beetle Form Mage being pumped, so he just needs something with 2 power and doesn't even need to worry about it. But yeah, that's another way he can do it too. You know, if Ifro were to tap out.
You could also just play it.
Yeah. Yep, he could just play it as well. He's also got another line where he can.
He's also got Give Take.
Yeah, exactly. So he can just draw a bunch of cards. He can set up a repeat threat with Give. He's got a whole lot of things he can do. Here's 4 mana. It looks like he's going to go for the Bluster Squall right now and tap down Gate Creeper Vine. Excuse me, and overload Bluster Squall to tap down Ifro's team. All right. So if he gives, then it's 5. If he pumps, then it's 9, and he's got a 2-power guy. So as long as Ifro doesn't have a removal spell or some type of something that can get in the way, Matai will have the win here if he wants it.
Which we know he does, but
yeah, what does Ifro
Matai
have?
does not share our knowledge of Eric's hand.
What does he have?
Forest Swap Swap.
All right. Nope, it looks like Matei's gonna play a little bit. Well, actually, no, he does have Rubble Belt. So it's 4, 7. Yep, he's going to pump. That's 8, and Rubble Belt would do it if that gets through. Is he going to go for it here? Seems like he would. Let's find out.
Sure. So results? Yes.
Okay, you have a 4-4.
You've got a 4-4, so he can get Ifro down to 2 right here. He's got to decide if he wants to pass priority here. He did see Putrefy out of Ifro in the first game. Oh, you figure he would have seen it by now.
Yeah, he has to be thinking about it.
Yeah. All right, here he goes.
Like,
Rubble Belt Maka, go for it.
Sure.
Ifro says sure. And that's it. Yes. Big Z, you see him a little fist pump there, and he says yes. And as he wins a match versus Eric Frolic, big sigh of relief too.
You know, if you guys want to talk a little bit about Magic, there is a Cover It Live chat that is just starting, and you can go there right now. And
qualifiers for the next Pro Tour have begun. You could be on the big stage for Pro Tour Theros, taking place October 11th to 13th in Dublin. For more information, visit wizards.com/PTQ. Okay, looking forward to that one. So, a relatively quick match there as Matai is able to get by Ifro thanks to an aggressive line. He took on some level of risk. You could see how relieved he was, but he decided, you know what, it's worth it for me to try to shut the door on this game right now, and I'm going for it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can tell. We'll hear a little bit from Sheldon Menery as he talks to Matai.
All right, looks like
he's
we're
getting set up for an interview.
Hey, welcome back to the booth. You're going to talk to us for a couple of minutes, and then maybe we'll get a word with Big Z and then a few more matches in there, too. But what do you think about going for it there? How worried are you if you're Big Z? I mean, if Ifro has removal, would he have used it by then anyway?
Well, I mean, the thing is, even if he does, I think the other side of it, if he does have the removal, is he doesn't have a ton of swing on the way back.
No.
He's got a Gate Creeper Vine, he's got a Trestle Troll, and he's got a 3/3 token, right?
And it was, all right, it looks like we're about ready to go down. We'll have a chat with Big Z and see what he thinks about going for that last play.
Hey, Sheldon Menery down here in the feature match area. I'm with Matej Zadokai. That was a pretty savage second game.
Yeah, I did draw really well, and Ifro was unlucky to have drawn so many lands, so.
And we saw you go into the tank for a little while there on that last turn. What were you worried about?
Yeah, the problem was if he has removal, I'm kind of all-inning for no reason, because like I could probably win the race because I had good creatures and stuff. But I kind of thought with so many mana up, he would probably just leaving up mana regeneration for Trestle Troll. So I thought the Bluster Squall plan of all-inning is fine, especially after drawing the Zerta Ancient, which I felt would be a really good blocker for if it failed.
Okay, so you're well positioned for a run deep into this thing. How confident are you in your constructed deck?
Well, I'm 6-0 in drafts, only 3-2 in block constructed. So, but I like her deck. I think it's going to be fine. But I just have to play solid, focus, and I think I can eke out the wins I need.
Brian David Marshall would like to know how the from out in the Twitterverse would like to know how the European Union team came together.
Basically, it's the basics are the Slovakians and the Czechs. So me, Robert Jurkovic, Ivan Floch, Stanislav Cifka, and Lukas Jaklowski. We're all really close friends. And since I have connections with a lot of people all over Europe, I talked to some of the Austrians who I regularly meet in the PDQ seasons, and a few of the good friends qualified. So we kind of wanted to put it together, and they actually wanted to test with Kai Bude, which is understandable. So we kind of put a team together, but we're not running the same lists. Actually, we've come to different conclusions. So the Austrians and Germans are on different lists to ours, but we are both on Esper. So it worked out fine in the end.
All right, super. Thanks for your time. Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the weekend. I'm Sheldon Menery. We're back to the booth.
Hey, welcome back to the booth. Big Z, one of the good guys.
One of the good guys. And that team is chock full of sickos.
Yeah, he certainly
He's
is.
like, oh, you know, Ivan Floch and Lukas Jaklowski and Stanislav Cifka.
The PTQ. It's like, jeez. And then, yeah, he's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind testing with Kai Bude either.
Okay.
You know, sure, see how that goes. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to be moving over to another match here shortly. And it looks like we're ready right now. Let's send it back down to the feature match area right now.
Yeah, we're going to get a look at Brian Kibler versus Stanislav Cifka, a couple of Pro Tour champions.
Indeed.
And one of those Pro Tour champions has won a couple of Pro Tours.
That's right.
Brian Kibler, of course, winning 2.
Now
Stanislav Cifka winning 1 this season.
You can immediately see which side Kibler's on thanks to the frenetic motion going on there with his shuffling.
By the way, just to add for a moment, the Cover It Live chat we mentioned, it is on the front page of the coverage. So if you go there, you can get right into the Cover It Live and join the conversation, talking about this Pro Tour.
That is cool. All right, Beetle 4 Mage is going to get activated in tech. We've got a pretty well-developed board here.
Yeah, that's dailymtg.com. If you guys are watching on Twitch and you're not watching it off the website, go to dailymtg.com. There's a link to the coverage page right there, and Cover It Live is right there.
Cool. All right, we've got a pretty nice board here for Kibler. He's got Vorl of the Hullclade. We're going to hear a little bit about him later on from Sheldon, I think. There's now a Shamble Shark that's a 3-2 and threatening to become just massive thanks to Vorl. There's also a Crawl Warrior, an Indrik there. He's got a Beetle Form Mage. This is all just kind of, it's very Simic-y, kind of just dudes deck. There's the Drudge Beetle as well. Yeah, it looks sweet. Now, if we look at the other side of the table for Cifka, he's got a similar kind of board. He's got a Murmuring Phantasm, the 05 wall. He's also got an evolved Clinging Anemones.
Oh, he's got a Deadbridge Goliath.
Yeah, now that's the big boy. That's the biggest creature on this board. He's also got a Deputy of Acquittals and a Disciple of Old Ways. So it looks like Deadbridge Goliath is attacking. And Kibler says, you know, I'm going to turn these resources into other resources.
Well, again, if he gets counters on something by scavenging that beetle, he's able to double that, make that a lot better.
Make that a lot better, and an instant speed.
With Vorl of the Hullclade.
Instantly we see Cifka pick up Vorl, like, wait, what? And Vorl of the Hullclade is an interesting card because when you read it, for me, the first time I read it, it didn't stick in my head that it actually doubled them.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I can add a counter. That's okay. And then wait.
Yeah, so it's for each counter, put another counter.
Yeah, I was corrected, and I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty good.
Although keep in mind, there's a terrific tempo play in Cifka's hand. He does have the Dramatic Rescue. So you know, Brian Kibler, you know, says, okay, I'm going to put some counters on this guy. I'm going to commit, you know, tap it and commit my Vorl ability this turn to that, and then. Yeah, well, I'm just going to return that.
So we're talking about blanking potentially up to 8 to 12 mana here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 6 mana from the Scavenge, there's 2 mana from Vorel, and then there's whatever the creature costs. So, you know, it could be a huge tempo play, though it's not a long-term plan. All right, Beetle Form Mage attack after getting activated, and it puts Stanislav Cifka down to 4. He's one Beetle Form Mage hit away from no longer being alive. Now, we know he has the Dramatic Rescue, so he can prevent himself from dying for another turn, but it doesn't really solve the problems that he's facing here. Void Wielder, one of my favorite cards in this block. What is it going to hit?
Sure. All target him.
Evolve and target Deadbridge Goliath, so there that goes, and Shamble Shark is now sitting with 2 counters, potentially 4, and here's Dramatic Rescue on Beetleform Mage. This is while Kibler's tapped out so that he can't recast it this turn, so it's an extra turn that Cifka gets. All right, Stanislav, Cifka. What did he draw? He's got an Aerial Predation? No, that's
the Aerial
Kibler's hand.
Predation's in Kibler's hand.
All right, so we know that Cifka has an island and a Deadbridge Goliath.
Sounds like he's got he's got the Deadbridge Goliath that got bounced to his hand.
Yeah. He's got a 3rd card in hand, though.
He's playing it close to his chest.
He is.
Oh, it's his own Beetle. Oh, no, Kibler has the Beetleform Mage. Let's see if we can figure out what. It's Stolen Identity.
Oh, wow. Does he have the mana to cast it? Yes, no, I guess not. 1, 2.
Yeah.
But he's able to.
Oh, oh.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so he's going to cast Deadbridge Goliath and then pass the turn. He wanted to evolve his Clinging Anemones, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Kibler said, yep, it's too late, man.
He'd really love to have some sort of flyer that he could get through. He could start Void Wieldering every turn.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be Cifka's plan here, is to wait for Kibler to play Beetleform Mage and then start Stolen Identity, at least the first of a Void Wielder here, because it forces the issue and it also just keeps him alive. Cifka's at 6, so he can take 2 hits from Beetleform Mage in the air, but it's a big problem for him as he has no way to apply direct pressure. The Deadbridge Goliath can keep attacking.
But he did just draw a Pit Fight.
Oh, he did? Ooh, okay. That's a little different. Pit Fight is awesome here, because if he sends in with his Deadbridge Goliath and Kibler doesn't block properly, he doesn't put enough creatures on it, he can get it.
I have 2.
Cards.
Those 2 cards are Aerial Predation and Chorus of Might.
Oh, wow. So Kibler has a trick of his own. He does have 4 mana
Kibler has a green Fireball in hand.
He does.
That's a lot of mana.
That's a lot of mana, Kibler says.
Okay.
And Cipher on that creature.
On the same one? Okay.
Okay, so what he's done is he's copied the Beetleform Mage and then ciphered it onto the copy of Beetleform Mage. He's given himself the chance to activate Beetleform Mage. Wow, he just doubled the counters on Shamble Shark. And so you were mentioning he wanted a flyer. He made one.
Yeah.
Attack, Chorus.
Attack, Chorus of Might, and you're tapped out, and you're going to take lethal damage here, Stanislav, Cifka.
In fact, I think he takes so much damage, he starts his next match in 10.
It was kind of a savaging.
I think my deck is pretty gross.
So
double Beetleform Mage.
You had a nice deck.
Yeah.
I've got a good deck too.
Yeah, your deck definitely seems pretty solid. I mean, like you're
solid.
obviously 3 colors, which can make it a little shakier.
Good fixation, but
Yeah.
still.
I think we'll note the difference between a gross deck and a pretty solid deck. You can play Magic at a store near you every Friday. Earn Planeswalker points and battle against your friends in Friday Night Magic. May's FNM promo card is Judges Familiar. Visit wizards.com/FNM to find a store near you. All right, looks like we're moving over. We still got 2 matches going. In our other matches, they've been ending really quickly.
A little more bonus magic.
But we get some bonus magic here, it looks like.
We do have 6 spells, or 6 lands, 1 spell.
We're getting our overhead camera set up. You guys can see it on the stream there. The thing is huge. I stood next to it. It's just ridiculous.
And we're gonna get another look at Rob Castellon versus Simon Berchew.
Okay.
So this is 10-0 versus 9-1.
So two people in fantastic positions to make a run. If the constructed portion isn't disastrous, they can actually position themselves for a top 8 here in San Diego.
Yeah, I just lost all the hot chicks sitting at home watching that trophy.
Simon, one of the few Greek players in the tournament.
You blew your chance, dude. You had it and you blew it.
Having some jovial conversation with each other before their game here. I'm not sure if who's up how many games in this situation.
Yeah, we're waiting. It is 1-1. This is game 3. We're tuned in for a little elbow dropping here.
Is that a wrestling?
Yeah,
figure 4. I don't really watch watch wrestling.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not going to make it up.
I just like elbow dropping.
Good.
All right. It looks like Bertew's going to 5 cards here. Does he have a keeper on 5? We were hoping for a great match. Let's see if we can get it.
Again, you know, this is a slower format than Gate Crash was. You know, it's not as a multi-5 is not as punishing.
No, and there's many cards that can get you out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to recoup.
All right, Drudge Beetle's going to kick things off for Castellon. And unfortunately for Berw, he's missed his second land drop. This happens sometimes when you mulligan. You got to keep a sketchy hand. I'm assuming his hand is quite good. I mean, it's clearly all spells here, so if he can start hitting a few lands in a row, there's one. It's even a mountain. It's another color, so it's pretty good.
So
he's got a Riot Piker that can block for a turn. Then it's going to have to start turning sideways, but I think he's fine.
So before you start doing your job, what I need you to do is block.
Yep. All right, so Splatter Thug gets in there for Rob Castellon.
Get a look at
follows up with a Stonefair Crocodile.
Rob's hand.
So he's got a Rune Wing, a Krasis Incubation, and a Gate Creeper Vine. You know, the Krasis Incubation is going to be pretty devastating here. I think that I saw a Frontline Medic from Simon.
Well, here you go. You want to take a look at Simon's hand.
Yeah. Indeed.
Frontline Medic, you see a Gleam of Battle.
Yeah, it's kind of dead at this point. It's a thing that might happen way later, but right now he's also got a Haza Snare Squad I see there, but he's going to start off with a Frontline Medic. It looks like no blue mana currently on Rob's side, so that Incubation is going to have to just sit in his hand. All right, 2 attacks and no trade here. Wow. Second Gate Creep, a Gate Creeper Vine for Rob.
So he's going to be able to cast that Krasis Incubation.
Yeah, he's
going to
get into Mirror
source.
Guildgate. He's going to play it for the turn as well. Now remember, that goes to his hand, but he hadn't played a land yet. That's why he just put it right into play.
By the terms of my contract, I will attack you.
Yeah. So that Frontline Medic is just still sitting there. It did not trade off for Stonefair Crocodile last turn, but he also did not attack with it this turn. So he must have a plan for it. I believe this is going to be a Snare Squad, and there it is.
Get a look at the...
He might not have wanted to trade if he knew he had a 1/4 in his hand. It can block that 3/2.
So a Forest was drawn by Rob.
Okay. So the Chamber...
He can cast anything in his hand now.
It's a nice feeling.
All of his cards are live. Not true for Simon.
Accept.
All right, looks like he's just going to attack. He's still offering the trade here.
We see the card he... Actually, the card he... I guess he had the Forest. The card he just drew was the Rebel Belt Raiders.
Oh, jeez. It looks like Simon still isn't willing to trade off his medic for the Stonefair Crocodile. He had the option to do it last turn and declined it, and he is pondering it now. All right, now he does. So,
I mean, he's got to stop the bleeding.
yeah, I mean,
He's at 9.
That was true last turn, and it's even more true now. So he does.
Krasis or Thunderfist. Oh, Rebel Belt Raiders.
Rebel Belt Raiders.
Viashino First Blade.
Sweet card. Not awesome here, though.
No, he really wanted that land. He would have liked to have been able to Warleader's Helix.
The Rebel Belt Raiders. Update from the back tables. Sounds like Svi Moshowitz has defeated Yasooka 2-1.
Good.
And
All right.
a awkward Viashino First Blade.
Yeah, trigger, sure. Now, with only one gate on the table, that red gatekeeper is not, it's the smelt.
Yeah.
All right, here comes attacks. There's a trigger on Rebel Belt Raiders, 3 triggers, 3 counters. Block,
I'll think about it.
Okay, he did mention, he's like, I'm thinking about doing that. He's not committed to this block yet. If he does, he could be taking 4
Can you have
damage.
stand up on the clock? I think it's got to be over 20. 20. For playing attack?
Judge
Plus
always
an extra
knows.
4.
Yeah.
It's taking 6 from the Raiders.
You worried you might not get there?
6 from
You
the
worried you might
Raiders.
not get there?
No.
Like this. I'm
Let's
just,
rock.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay. You take 6, go to 3.
Yeah.
And the Thunder Fist comes for mop-up duty.
That's right.
Go ahead.
There is a mountain, so that is going to open up the possibility for Simon to live another turn. It looks like probably just has to kill the Thunder Fist now. I mean, otherwise it's just going to get eaten by the Piker potentially. Or the Piker's just going to get eaten anyway. Yeah, he's just going to do it now. Gain 4 life. He's going to enable an attack here.
Attack.
So Simon hanging in there, but barely. He's at 7. He's going to have to chump block with his House of the Snare squad here.
Crisis.
And Crisis Incubation is going to finish things off to make it so that Rob Castellon is now undefeated through the entire draft portion of day 2.
So he's 6-0 in draft, 5-0 in constructed,
Yeah.
and really is in a position where he just needs to pick up a couple more wins.
Wow.
And lock up a top 8 in his debut, maybe steal the Rookie of the Year title.
Yeah, that can happen here, right? Anybody
Absolutely.
that has a great finish at the end, you know, puts themselves in a great position to take Rookie of the Year away.
Like my first game.
Wow, welcome back to the booth. Marshall Sutcliffe with Brian David Marshall, and yeah, he's just putting on a clinic out there.
Yeah, he's just going about his business. He's not letting himself get overwhelmed by the moment.
Not at all. You know, we had that quick interview. Sheldon talked to him a little bit, and I mean, he seemed super chill. Like, he didn't look nervous or even frazzled, or he wasn't even like, wow, I'm 10-0 at the Pro Tour. Like, he was just like, yeah, well, you know, didn't think I was going to do this good, but here I am.
Well, you know, sometimes people whose entire Magic life is about getting to the Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I just want to win an F&M. I just want to win a PTQ.
Yeah.
I just want to top 8 a GP. I just want to play on the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
You know, then you get here, and really, as soon as you step in the room, you know, you're like, what's that sound? Oh, it's my heart pounding.
Yeah.
You know, like just like a Warner Brothers cartoon. You know, just pounding out of your chest.
Yeah.
You're like, this is it. Am I good enough? Am I this? You have all of that fear, and it's you know, for Robbie, that's not what his Magic life has been about. His Magic life's been about judging.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, he's enjoying himself, right? He doesn't seem unhappy about it by any stretch, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be putting any undue pressure on himself here. So yeah, really an impressive run too. And like you said, he's put himself in a position where if he can just pick up a few wins, he could potentially try to top 8 of the first Pro Tour that he's played.
And in a great spot where he has a deck, you know, that is not any of, you know, it's a control deck, but it's not any of the control decks that other people are playing. It has tools to deal with other people's, you know, Sire of Insanity, Sin Collector, Sire of Insanity, Deadbridge Chant. Oh,
yeah,
I love that card.
Yeah,
so
that card's
much.
sweet. Yeah,
You know, we saw him yesterday play a Deadbridge Chant. Follow it up with a Sire of Insanity. Both players discard their hands, and then he's getting 2 cards a turn to his opponent's 1. His opponent's entire, you know, game plan is just disrupted.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're ready to send it back to the news desk, so we're going to do that now. When we come back to the action, it's going to be block constructed again. Thanks for joining us for the draft portion, though, and we'll hand it over to Rich.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the news desk. All kinds of news coming in here to the hub. We've got Rob Castellon, of course, 11-0. What an extraordinary run for him. Simon Berw, he stays at 27 points. So he, though, undefeated in block constructed, just like Castellon. Now, Pod 2, this featured Kerry Edwards, Bob Marr, Robert Yurkovich, Andrew Shrout, Daniel Alberg, Gabriel Nassif, Oliver Polak-Rockman, and Craig Wesco. Well, turns out we had some clue. Craig Wesco yesterday drafted a fantastic Rakdos deck, which he monstered his way through his draft pod to get to 3-0. He then went 4-1 in block constructed with, here's a shock, small white creatures turning sideways like Judge's Familiar. All the one drops you've ever heard of and several that you haven't, it turns out. And then he came back today, he thought, you know what was good yesterday, Rakdos, let's try it again. I watched him pretty much dominate Gabriel Nassif from the middle round of the draft this morning, and he has completed the sweep of the pod. Craig Wesco moves up to 10-1 and is in with a great shout of making another Pro Tour top 8, with 5 rounds still to go, don't forget, so still work to be done. For Castellon, though, as the only player undefeated, he's potentially as few as 1 win away from being able to start looking at offering draws here and there to lock himself in to the top 8. So fantastic performance by him. Let me give you some other results I've got coming in. You saw Matej Zatulkai. He advances to 9-2. Josh Utter-Leighton stays at 24 points. Robert Jurkovic is up to 25. Swift defeating Mahito Makahara. Kerry Edwards now down to 7-4. So starting to fall away perhaps a little bit there. Gabriel Nassif, I just told you he'd lost in the previous round to Craig Wesco. I see now on my screen that he has defeated Oliver Polak-Rotman of Austria. And what that means is that Nassif is again in great shape at 9-2. Remember the narrative we sculpted for you at the start of the day? We said Nassif, posting on Facebook, didn't lose a game, not a match, didn't lose a game in block constructed. He now gets to unleash that 75 card set against the remaining field. Now, what is the remaining field? Well, 4 wins, 4 losses is where you want to really look at the margin. 5 losses, you don't make top 8. 3 losses, you kind of pretty much do. 4 losses, well, that's where you might finish 6th. You might finish 13th or anywhere in between. So when you're looking at your standings round by round, look for that 4th loss. The win number isn't the issue. It's the 4th loss that puts you in perilous, perilous state. So the round finishing off, we'll bring you all the updates. We'll give you a Master Scoreboard, the full story. But for now, it's time to go. I was listening on my earpiece to one of the rounds earlier on, and I heard Sheldon Menery interview Rob Castellon, and he said, now, Deadbridge Chant, that's basically a commander card, isn't it? I thought, what? No one plays commander cards in like round 12 of a Pro Tour? And yeah, they really do. It was Deadbridge Chant. And it's time now to go into the command zone. Great chance for all you multiplayer fans. Here is Sheldon out the video wall with the command zone.
Hey everybody, I'm Sheldon Menery. You're inside the command zone. Now, Dragon's Maze has given us 10 powerful guild champions for your commander decks. We're going to go through them one by one and see how they can help you. First up is Ameritandris. She is going to make all your tokens immune to damage. Now, you might think Stormherd, you might think Rista Redeemed. I think I'd build her in a Rift the Awakener Naya deck so that I could take advantage of damage cards like Chain Reaction, Blasphemous Act, because all my guys are going to survive, and yours are going to die. I think she's a little expensive to play as a commander on her own, especially because she doesn't populate or have anything else. That's Ameritandris. Next up is Exava. Oh, there's our card. There's our card. Stormherds, Risk the Redeemed, Blasphemous Act, Chain Reaction. Again, make tokens with this guy, and then have Amera save them from your board wipes. Moving on to Exava Rakdos Blood Witch. I think you have to make this a commander in a deck where +1/+1 counters matter. So Arcbound Overseer, Arcbound Ravager, these are the cards you want to see. You see them coming up there. So a really nice Arcbound theme. You can get your modular counters running around, and you can get all those guys hasty, and you can take advantage of sacrificing them to things like Goblin Bombardment or an old favorite Altar of Dementia. Take advantage of those sacrifices with Grave Pact and Butcher of Malakir. I don't think there's too many situations where we see Exava not unleashed because it's Rakdos, so it's an aggressive strategy, an aggressive deck. It's just going to get into the command zone. Next up, Lavinia of the 10th. Now, this is one of my favorite of the guild champions. I'm generally not really much of an Azorius type player, but this Lavinia really suggests a stacks kind of detain control strategy. You can play it with great detain cards like Azorius Justiciar, Marshal Sutcliffe Law, but the real strength here, I think, is using things like Conjurer's Closet and Deadeye Navigator to keep getting Lavinia in and out and in and out. And I'm sorry, all you low mana cost guys, you're going to need to be detained for a little while. I really like her. I like her enough that I have changed my Geist of St. Traff deck into a Lavinia deck. Next up is It, and it's Melik. Is It Paragon? This card is one that a lot of players I know are really, really getting excited about. Marshall Sutcliffe really excited. He's that great Is It player. You see, you can cast stuff off the top of your library if it's an instant or sorcery. So it's kind of a future sight. But when you do cast them, you get to copy it. So I'm going to build this deck, and I'm going to have it probably be my lowest creature count deck. It's going to be things full of things like Searing Wind to do a lot of damage and copy twice, Jace's Ingenuity to draw a lot of cards, but the card that I'm really, really looking forward to playing is Possibility Storm. Now, we've seen that 100% of the Possibility Storms played in the Pro Tour have gotten countered. That means that it must be an extremely strong card, according to Nick Fong. But it blanks a lot of the, just like it's attempted to do here in the Pro Tour, it blanks a lot of dedicated draw and kill spells, so you don't know what you're going to get. Play it in a high, maybe even play this in a high creature count deck like your Animar deck or something, because you know you're always going to get something great. Next up is Mirko Vosk Mind Drinker. You can see him flying over the city there. I think that he's a little small to be a commander in his own right. By the time you cast him for 5 mana, his 2/4 is probably not going to be able to hit people like you want him to hit. So I think we play him as a role player in a Lazav Dimir Mastermind deck, or I've put him in my own Mimeoplasm deck. There you see Lazav. When you mill things in your Lazav deck, you get to copy them. But when you mill an Eldrazi, bad things happen because people get to shuffle their graveyards. So you're going to need some targeted graveyard hate, like Cremate, and of course the old favorite Withered Wretch, to take care of the Ulamogs that get milled. Sure, they're still going to shuffle, but you're going to be able to exile them so they won't come back. Just go back on your mill routine again. So I see Mirko Vosk as one of those role players instead of a great general. Rorik Thar, on the other hand, I think is an outstanding Gruul commander. Aggressively costed at 6 mana, but in Gruul colors, you're going to be able to ramp into that relatively soon, and then you just play more guys and more creatures and more creatures and more creatures and punish the people that want to kill your creatures. Because every time they cast a non-creature spell, they're going to take 6 damage. The downside is that he's going to have to attack each turn, so eventually he's going to get killed. So I think what you do here is just get him into the red zone and just battle. Just make him bigger. You can use all these great Blood Rush creatures, Gorklan Rampager, Rubble Hulk, Scar Goliath, and just trample over, do 15, 19, 21 commander damage in 1 turn. I think that's going to be the strength of Rurik the Unbowed. I think my other favorite is our next up in the hit parade, Tajik, Blade of the Legion. Now, this guy has commander written all over him because he commands the armies. He's inexpensive at 4 mana. He's indestructible, and I'm just going to get him in the command zone every time that I can. He's going to attack, he's going to attack, he's going to attack, mostly with an army full of friends with cards like Assemble the Legion and his friends Hero of Bladehold, all these guys just getting into the zone, all the Boros guys attacking. But because he gets +5/+5 on his battalion when he attacks with 2 other creatures, I'm going to start creating extra command steps, extra combat steps. Savage Beating, Waves of Aggression, and of course everybody's favorite Battle Angel, Aurelia the War Leader gets us a fist pump from Rich Hagon. Next is Teysa, Envoy of Ghost. She's another one that I think might be just on the expensive side to play as a commander, but if you're going to, you maybe play her in a Voltron-style build with Sword of Fire and Ice, Sword of Light and Shadow, because with protection from creatures, she's effectively unblockable. There are a few things that can get her blocked, but for the most part, she's just going to get through. I have her as a role player right now in my Obzedat Ghost Council deck because she's really a rattlesnake. You don't want to attack me because your guys are going to get killed, and then I'm going to come back and drain you with Obzedat. If they do insist on attacking, because remember, her trigger is no good if you're dead, to prevent people from attacking or to punish them for attacking, Batwing Broom prevents all the combat damage, and if you spend black to play it, it also deals 1 damage to them, or they lose 1 life for each creature that attacked. So if someone plays an overrun strategy, you prevent it and damage them really hard. Like I said, Sword of Fire and Ice, Sword of Body and Mind, you just stick a weapon in each hand of Teysa and get into the red zone. Next up, Valraz the Scarstripe. Now I have to be honest, at first I kind of discounted Valraz as a commander because of the scavenge ability. So you get scavenge for all the creatures in your graveyard, but that means they're exiled and you can't cast them again, or you can't recur them. And if there's anything that green and black do well, it's recur creatures. So you don't want them gone. But I've seen now with some dredge strategies, you can get your graveyard really full really fast, and Life from the Loam, of course, is one of the big ones there. Get a lot of guys into your graveyard, scavenge them, and Valraz becomes maybe a lethal general relatively fast. A favorite here in the command zone, Lord of Extinction, if there's a lot of stuff in the graveyard and you scavenge him, you're going to put 30, 40, or 50 counters on your Valraz. That's going to be lethal pretty fast. Then, once they're exiled, just get them back with your Rift Sweeper. You cast it, shuffle them back into your library, and then have some way of recurring your Rift Sweeper, like Oversold Cemetery or some bounce spells, and you have all your guys back. So I think that Valraz is a lot more dangerous than I initially believed. Last up is Varl of the Hulklade, and I got to tell you, when Brian David Marshall saw this card spoiled, he squealed like a 12-year-old girl at a Beatles concert. This is really Simic. I was just talking to Marshall too. He said, well, you know, I saw it, and we just saw it in the feature match, as a matter of fact. It looks like it puts a counter on a creature, and then that costs mana. Well, what Varel does is double the counters on a creature. So if you're playing it in Momir Vig, or a great one like Prime Speaker Zagana, you can get Prime Speaker Zagana into play, and it comes into play with a number of counters, and then it has a triggered ability. So you can then double the counters and draw twice as many cards. I think with Prime Speaker and Varel of the Hulklade, the thing you have to worry about most is decking yourself. But you don't just limit yourself, kind of think outside the box for the kind of counters you can double. With the Myojin, any Myojin really, but in blue, Myojin of the Seeing Winds, you can double the counters, you can put 2 divinity counters on it, which means you can use its ability and still have it be indestructible. Then, of course, there's cumulative upkeep counters. So with Vexing Sphinx, you've got your age counters on it. It's a triggered ability, goes on the stack, and then you decide whether to pay or not when it resolves. So you can have 4 or 5 counters on Vexing Sphinx, having cost you 4 or 5 cards. Then, when the triggered ability is on the stack, double the number of age counters, and you're going to draw that many cards when you decide not to play Vexing Sphinx. So, 10 guilds, 10 powerful creatures, 10 really, really good weapons for your commander decks. That's all the time we have from the Command Zone. I'm Sheldon Menery. I'll see you soon.